panning this pan on just this oscillator. So there's still a centered sound, you know. If I was to take this out of the way, you still got this one sound. Let's bring this up a little bit. So you still got that oscillator there, stuck in the center, driving down the middle. So something like that as well, that could work. Also, I've got this acid reverb hit. Now with this one, I might want to do a bit of a gate on it again, just to sort of give it a bit of a... So I was just pushing that to the side. You know, pan one a bit left, pan one a little bit right, so they sort of got that movement as well. Now what I can do with this is I can map the cutoff to the velocity. So if I just go source, go velocity, on an octave as well in one of the oscillators. Let's try panning them. Now this one I feel just needs a little bit of movement, so what I'm just going to do is try a little bit of phaser on it or something. You obviously have to find the right sounds that work well with it though, so it's just fine to just go up an octave with this. I think it's a bit low down. Is my remix of Balls to the Wall by Brian Carney. So this is the sort of bass that we're going to be looking at doing today. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to actually keep the retrig on this second oscillator here, the one that's giving it a bit of width. And the reason for that is I'm going to add envelope on it, or, you know, different phase to it. Your sound's going to sound different to this, and the way you EQ it is going to sound different, but your main goal is to have that nice low end sub, and then also you know, the mid that nicks in with it and also gives it that warmth, but also whilst it's still being able to let the kick cut through. That top one is almost the same as this one. If I turn this off, it's sounding very muddy. So there's the channel EQ. Now I'm going to cut it again. That one there with the retrig on or off is going to be on the main bass, mid bass is going to be a personal preference thing. So just have another little. So what this is actually doing is when you add reverb to these sort of sounds, it's going to help fill out the space if you do want the kick and bass to play on its own sort of thing. So if I show you in this sort of track here, for this example, this is quite cool, and what I'd maybe sometimes do is listen to what the sound is actually doing. So it's sort of driving it along, it's unique. And it sounds around there. So I mean, I could set up a dummy one if I wanted, to just sort of have it so it's like that, take all the delays off on that one, and sidechain this instead to audio, sit it in the background. So let's now try adding some on this. Simple delay on this one, I think. Sample delay. Push this to the other side instead. Now, let me just transpose this down. Still think we need a better sounding scratch to start it off. Let's try Now, the next thing I can do is, because these are in the sampler, I can start to pitch them down and start to make them fit with my track. So I'm going to get rid of the second hit in this for this delay, because this delay is quite long, as you could probably hear if I just play this from here. You don't want it hitting again and then creating another delay, which doesn't work. But if you want to really create your own sort of samples from just single hits and stuff, this is the way I go about doing it. So you've got these hits here. Now maybe let's try bringing it to here instead, because I've got these hits playing here. Let's just try that instead. Take away. So I will go in and use the octaves in the oscillators to refine it a bit more to what I want. What I want to do here is again pitch it down. This note, when I just play it on its own, obviously just sounds like a loop. It's just a loop note playing its own. If I combine it with the underlining drone, it makes it sound like the top notes are changing, even though they're not. Maybe that might work. And I wanted to make sure it goes with my drone and with my melody, so let's extend them a little bit. And what you want to do is make sure that if you are picking sounds, they're different, and when you're bringing them back in, you can hear that they're coming in a lot of the time. And I used to do it myself when I first started. Is I'd be soloing the layers, I'd be adding them in, and I'd be like, I can't even hear that layer as I bring it in, and all I'm doing is just creating mix issues for myself. So let's just try. It's just a white noise crash. And the reason for this is when you listen to reference tracks, I always reference my kick and bass from this 33 bar mark. Now the reason why I do that is because now what I'm also going to do is you want to make sure the LFO is after the overdrive, because it's going to get that side chain in there for you, sounding nice. Now what I'm actually going to do, you could have something like this maybe. Probably needs to go up a bit actually. I think it was this one. I did take quite a lot of the high off, but in this track I want it to have the mid in there to help drive it along.